Hello viewers, today we are going to learn about the inverse of an element as well as inverse of a function. Topics to be covered today are introduction of inverse of an element, definition, inverse of a function, properties and algorithm of inverse of a function, followed by some examples. Inverse of an element, let A and B be two non-empty sets and F A to B be a mapping. So what we say that the elements which belongs to capital A belongs to capital A, always have a, since it is a function, right, will always have a image in B. So for every A belongs to A, we have B belongs to capital B, right? Or what we can write that B is equal to FA. If we want to talk about B, we write for B belongs to capital B, there is a element A belongs to capital A, right? So we can say, or for every B in capital B, we have a pre-image in capital A, or we have a inverse of B in A. So the element which is there for every B in capital B in A is nothing but your inverse of a element. Is that clear? Now, whether your inverse is a single element or your inverse has many elements or your inverse does not have any element, that depends upon whether your function is injective or it is many one or it is onto or into. Okay, so let us check some examples which will help you to understand that concept. Now let us take this example. Let f R2R be defined as fx is equal to x square plus 1. Find f inverse minus 5, f inverse 26 and f inverse of 10 and 37. Okay. So when we are talking about inverse, means this element lies in domain of R. When we are talking about f inverse, means for some minus 5 in this, there exists an element which is in domain R. Okay. So let us check. So let f inverse minus 5 is equal to x. Okay. So it means minus 5 is equal to fx. Minus 5 is equal to x square plus 1. See here fx. So x square is equal to minus 6. X is equal to under root plus minus under root minus 6. Right? Which does not belong to R. We don't have imaginary elements in R, right? So hence, so for minus 5 inverse does not exist. So it means f inverse of minus 5 is equal to 5. Now let us solve the second part. So it is again f inverse 26 should be equal to x, which belongs to the domain part, right? So 26 is equal to fx. So 26 equals to x square plus 1. X square is equal to 25. X is equal to plus minus 5, which belongs to R. So it means your inverse of 26 is, f inverse 26 is minus 5 comma 5. Okay. Now we will check for the third part. So now we have to check for this. So what does this imply? X belongs to R such that fx is equal to 10 or fx is equal to 37. Okay. So now what I can write? I can write x belongs to R such that what is my fx? X square plus 1 is equal to 10 or x square plus 1 is equal to 37. Right? So what does that imply? X belongs to R such that x square is equal to 9 or x square is equal to 36. X belongs to R such that x equals to plus minus 3 or x is equal to plus minus 6. So what is f inverse? It is minus 3 plus 3 minus 6 plus 6. So what does that imply? From the previous results, what we can say that my function was not onto function as well as it is many one function. It is not one also. So the values which I have got was f inverse minus 5 was 5, right? and my f inverse 26 was minus 5 comma 5, right? And f inverse of 10 comma 37, 10 or 37 is these values. So what does that imply? It means my function is into, because for every element I don't have a pre-image. Secondly, my function for 26 I have two images, means f is many one. So when we are talking about the inverse of an element, we can have a inverse, we cannot have an inverse, we can have more than one inverse depending upon a type of a function. Now we'll discuss about inverse of a function. Okay. So just now we discussed about the inverse of an element. Now if I want to find the inverse of a function as a whole, right, there are certain conditions. What are those certain conditions? That my function should be 1, 1 and onto, then only I can find the inverse of a whole function, which will be applicable to all the elements. Okay, so say for example, this is my set A and this is my set B under F. Okay, so I have a function from A to B, and if I want F inverse to exist, so F inverse will be B to A only if my function is 1, 1 as well as onto. So now let us check the definition of inverse of a function. Let f A to B be a bijection. So what is the meaning of bijection? It is 1, 1 and onto. Then a function g B to A which associates each element y belongs to capital B to a unique element x belongs to capital A, such that fx is equal to y is called the inverse of f. That is, fx is equal to y implies and implied by gy is equal to x. The inverse of a function f is generally denoted by f inverse. So now let us check this example. Let f R2R be defined by fx is equal to 3x minus 7. Show that f is invertible and hence find f inverse. Okay. So for invertible, it is sufficient to prove that f is a bijection. Okay. So for bijection, what we check? We check the injectivity as well as the surjectivity. So first of all, we'll check. So what we have to show? For f or f to be invertible, f should be a bijection. So basically, what is the meaning of bijection? Bijection means it should be 1, 1 and on. 1, 1 means we have to check the injectivity. So let us check injectivity. So for injectivity, what we have to take? We have to take two arbitrary points in the domain. So let x comma y be two arbitrary points in R, which are domain. Fx is equal to fy. It means 3x minus 7 is equal to 3y minus 7, right? So which implies x is equal to y. So I started with my images and I proved the elements are equal. Hence, f is 1, 1 or f is injective. I have to check the surjectivity. So whenever I am talking about the surjectivity, I have to take the element in the codomain and check whether its pre-image exists or not. Okay. So let y belongs to R in codomain. Okay. So fx equals to y, 3x minus 7 equals to y, and from here we'll find the value of x, which will belong to our in domain, right? So we will have these type of animals in our R in domain. So means for every y belongs to R in codomain, I have an element y plus 7 upon 3 belongs to R in domain. So it means my function is onto. Okay. So this implies for every fx equals to y, there exists x belongs to y plus 7 by 3 in domain. So this implies fx equals to f. Substitute the value of x, what I have got? Y plus 7 by 3. Okay. And I will substitute this value here. Substitute the value 3 y plus 7 by 3 minus 7. So 3 and 3 get cancelled. You are getting y. So means for every y you have a x in domain, and for every x in domain you have a y in codomain. Okay, so hence f is surjective. Now just now I told you whenever my function is 1 1 and onto, it's a bijection, and for bijection function we can find the inverse. Okay, so now how to find the inverse? So again, fx is equal to y, so 3x minus 7 equals to y, x is equal to y plus 7 by 3, which implies f inverse y equals to y plus 7 by 3. Okay, so hence f inverse x is equal to x plus 7 by 3. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to check whether my f is invertible if it is not given. So first check f is invertible. For invertible, 1 1 on 2 and then find the inverse. Let us check some of the properties of the function now. First theorem, the inverse of a bijection is unique. Second is, the inverse of a bijection is also a bijection. What third theorem says, if f a to b is a bijection and g b to a is the inverse of f, then fog is equal to identity of b and gof is equal to identity of a, where ia and ib are identity functions on sets a and b respectively. Next theorem says, if f a to b and g b to c are two bijections, then gof a to c is a bijection and gof inverse is equal to f inverse of g inverse. Let f a to b and g b to a be two functions such that gof equals to identity a and fog equals to identity b. Then f and g are bijections and g is equal to f inverse. Let f a to b be an invertible function, then f inverse is equal to f. Now to find the inverse of a function, let us follow these steps. So first step is obtain the function and check its bijectivity. Second step is, if f is a bijection, then it is invertible. In order to find the inverse of f, put f of f inverse x is equal to x. Use the formula of fx and replace x by f inverse x in it to obtain left hand side of f inverse x is equal to x. Solve the equation for f inverse x and get f inverse x. So show that f minus 1 to 1 to r given by fx is equal to x upon x plus 2 is 1 1. So first we have to check the injectivity. Find the inverse of the function f minus 1 to 1 to range of f. Okay, so directly they have given us onto. We don't have to check the surjectivity of the function. We have to just check whether it is 1 1 or not. So let x and y be two arbitrary points in minus 1 1. Okay, so we are taking the arbitrary points in the domain. So fx is equal to fy. So x upon x plus 2 equals to y upon y plus 2. So which implies x equals to y. Means my f is 1 1. Now since we have to find the inverse from the domain to the range, so obviously f is onto. Hence f is a bijection. So whenever my function is a bijection, then I can find my inverse. Okay. So now how to find the inverse? There are two ways of finding the inverse. Okay. I'll tell you both the ways. Whichever way you are comfortable, you can do that method. So I am telling you first method, okay, of finding inverse, which we have done in the previous question also. So fx equals to y, x upon x plus 2 equals to y, x is equal to xy plus 2y. Basically we are finding the value of x from here. Now from here I can write x is equal to f inverse y. So f inverse y equals to 2y upon 1 minus y. So what is my inverse of the function? Hence f inverse x is equal to 2x upon 1 minus x. So this is my inverse for the given function. Now what is the other way of doing it? So second method is f of f inverse x is equal to x for all x belongs to range of f. Okay, so what I can write, f inverse x equals to x. Now look here, f of f inverse x, right? So I can substitute my f inverse x in the function. Okay, so what I will get, f inverse x upon f inverse x plus 2 equals to x, and from here I will find the value of f inverse x. So f inverse x equals to x f inverse x plus 2x. Okay, bring the f inverse terms to one side, so 1 minus x f inverse x equals to 2x. f inverse x is equal to 2x upon 1 minus x. So check this and this, they are same, both the ways are correct, you can use any of the way. Is that clear? So what I have done, I have taken f of f inverse x is equal to x. This x belongs to the range. Okay, so f of f inverse x is equal to x. I have substituted f inverse here, so f inverse x upon this, and I have solved for f inverse x. So now let us take this example. F into r be a function defined as fx is equal to 4x square plus 12x plus 15. Show that f into range f is invertible. Find inverse of f. To show that f is invertible, it is sufficient to prove that f is bijection, means 1 1 and on 2. So for f to be bijection, we have to first check injectivity. Let x comma y be two arbitrary points in N. Now fx is equal to fy. So 4x square plus 12x plus 15 equals to 4y square plus 12y plus 15. Okay, 15 gets cancelled. 4x square minus y square plus 12 x minus y equals to 0. X minus y I can take out common. Here 4 x plus y plus 12 will be remain. Right? It will remain. Now this quantity cannot be equal to 0. Okay. 4x plus 4y plus 12 can't be equal to 0 for any x comma y belongs to N. Right? So this implies x minus y equals to 0. This implies x is equal to y. Okay. Now my f is what one in this case? For bijection, since they have said f into range of f, means for every element there will be the preimage. So hence f is onto, obviously f will be onto. So for surjectivity, since f is into range of f, so hence every element of f will have a preimage in the domain. So hence f is onto, because of this word range. Okay, now we have to find the f inverse. So f for f inverse, what we are going to have for f inverse? We can write f of f inverse x is equal to x for all x belongs to range of f. Right? So f of f inverse x equals to x, what you can write here? F inverse x equals to x. Right? Now see, I will substitute in place of x square, I will substitute f inverse x. So 4 f inverse x whole square plus 12 f inverse x plus 15 equals to x. Right? Now I have to solve this equation. So now 4 f inverse x whole square plus 12 f inverse x plus 15 minus x equals to 0. Now this is my quadratic in f inverse x, right? So I can solve the quadratic using quadratic formula. What was my quadratic formula? X is equal to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So I am using that formula here. So f inverse x is equal to minus 12 plus minus under root, what is my b square? 12 square minus 4 into 15 minus x upon 2a, right? Solve this. So what you are getting? You can take out 4 common. My f inverse x is the element from the natural number, so it has to be greater than 0. So it means I will not take the negative sign of it. So it means x minus 6 minus 3 upon 2 will be the value of f inverse x. So basically you should check what is your domain. Accordingly you will define the f inverse x function. If it had been real number, then I would have taken minus sign also. Okay, so now we have another question. Consider f r plus 2 minus 5 comma infinity given by fx is equal to 9x square plus 6x minus 5. Show that f is invertible with f inverse x equals to root x plus 6 minus 1 by 3. So guys, just now I told you for invertible the function should be a bijection, means it should be 1 1 and on 2. But there is yet another method to solve this. So what we can do, we can define one more function g from minus 5 infinity to r plus, means I am defining a g function so that if I solve GOF of x, I will get an identity of r positive, and if I am solving fog of x and I get an identity of minus 5 comma infinity, it means both the functions are inverse of each other, right? So this is yet another method to solve it. So let fx is equal to y. What does that imply? 9x square plus 6x minus 5 equals to y. 9x square plus 6x equals to y plus 5. Now we have to use here completing the square. So what you can do, you can divide throughout by 9. So x square plus 6 by 9x is equal to y plus 5 by 9. I have divided throughout by 9. Okay. Now how we used to make a completing the square? Take the coefficient of x, multiply by half. So basically what you are getting 1 by 3. Square it. What you are getting? 1 by 9. So what I have done, I have multiplied the coefficient of x with 1 by 2. Whatever I have got, I have squared it. Okay, and I am adding that part both the sides. So x square plus 6 by 9x plus 1 by 9. Both the sides I have to add. So basically this will become my whole square. So x plus 1 by 3 whole square equals to y plus 6 by 9. X plus 1 by 3 equals to root y plus 6 by 9. So x is equal to minus 1 by 3 plus root y plus 6 upon 3. Okay, this is under root, so it will come out. So you will get the x element as y plus 6 minus 1 by 3. So now with this element I will define my another function. Okay, let us define g minus 5 comma infinity to r such that gy equals to whatever value I have got over here, I will define with that y plus 6 minus 1 by 3. Is that clear? So I have defined my function from g minus 5 comma infinity to r such that means I have a function from a to b. I have defined a function, another function from b to a. Now I will check the fog and GOF. If with that both I am getting an identity or not. So now let us discuss the x. With f, since I have x, so I will find GOF of x. So g of fx. Okay, g. What is my fx? 9x square plus 6x minus 5. Okay, so now I will substitute this value over here. 9x square plus 6x minus 5 plus 6 minus 1 upon 3, right? So I am getting root 3x plus 1 whole square minus 1 by 3. So I am getting 3x plus 1 minus 1 upon 3. So I am getting x, right? So x is the identity for R plus. Okay, so when I calculated g of fx, I got the identity of f, right? Now I will solve fog of y. Let me check if I get an identity of g. So fog of y, okay? So f of gy. So now we will substitute this value in fx, okay? So 9, so now 9, substitute the value. Instead of x, I will write this big value. So root y plus 6 minus 1 by 3 x square, because x square is there. So this quantity is square, plus 6. In place of x, this big quantity will come. Y plus 6 minus 1 by 3 and minus 5. Okay. Please guys, don't cancel this part and this part because the square sign is there. First you have to calculate the square and then cancel it. Here you can cancel. So now 9 y plus 6. I am squaring this. So under root will go off, plus 1 minus 2 root y plus 6 upon 9. 3 square is 9. Okay. So on the top I have used a minus b whole square. So a square plus b square minus 2ab plus 2 root y plus 6 minus 2 minus 5. I can cancel this 9 and 9 now. So y plus 7 minus 2 root y plus 6 plus 2 root y plus 6 minus 7. Cancel this part and this part, right? 7 and 7 will also get cancelled. So I am left with y, which is nothing but the identity for your minus 5 comma infinity. So this is the identity for g. So when I found GOF, I got the identity of f. When I found fog, I got the identity of g. So what does that imply? This implies f is invertible and f inverse is equal to g, right? And what does that says? F inverse x is equal to gx, right? So gy is this quantity. If I want to find gx, replace y with x. So root x plus 6 minus 1 by 3 will be your inverse for this function. This is the method which you can use very comfortably for finding the inverse of a function and proving the bijection. Let us take this question now. Consider f R2 are given by fx is equal to 4x plus 3. Show that f is invertible. Find inverse of f. So again we will use the same fog and GOF method. So what we are going to do, so our function is f R2R given by fx is equal to 4x plus 3. Let 4x plus 3 equals to y. X is equal to y minus 3 upon 4. Now we have to define another function. Let g R2R such that gy equals to y minus 3 upon 4, right? So now what we have to do, we have to check fog and GOF. So GOF of x is nothing but g of fx, okay? So g, what is my fx? My fx is 4x plus 3, right? What is my gy? So this value will be substituted in place of y in this function. So 4x plus 3 minus 3 upon 4. So I am getting x, which is nothing but identity of r, right? Similarly, I will find fog of y, right? So f of gy means f of, what is my gy? Y minus 3 upon 4, okay? So now I will substitute this value or this value in f function. Okay, so 4 y minus 3 upon 4 plus 3. So cancel, cancel. You are getting here y, which is nothing again identity of r. Okay, so here I have got identity of f. Here I am getting the identity of g. So hence f is invertible. G O f of x I am getting the identity of f, and f o g of y I am getting identity of g. It means f inverse is equal to g. What does that imply? F inverse x is equal to gx. So my f inverse x equals to x minus 3 upon 4. Here I will replace y by x. So x minus 3 upon 4. Okay. So see students, to find invertible as a function, what you have to do, either you can prove 1 and onto injectivity or surjectivity, or you can define one more function. Say for example, if your function is f a to b, you can define function g b to a and check Fogg and Goff. If you are getting the identities, it means your function is invertible. Today we learned introduction of inverse of an element, definition inverse of a function, properties and algorithm of inverse of a function, followed by some examples. That's all. Stay tuned.